Hi everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. So my name's Olivia and this is my first video, so I thought I'd just give a brief overview of what my channel is going to be. So my three main focuses are going to be spirituality, self-care, and self-development. I chose these three topics because I feel like when you live intentionally within these three topics, you align yourself with your higher self, you're able to create habits that help you align with your higher self, you figure out your purpose in life, you live a life you're proud of, happy to live, all those good things. So the purpose of this video is probably one of the most important things to help you get there, and that is how to stop giving a fuck what other people think of you. So, without further ado, let's begin. Number one is self-love and supporting yourself. So you have to believe in yourself, you have to love yourself, you have to be there for yourself. Nobody else believing in you is going to get you where you want to be. If you don't think you can do it, then it doesn't matter how many other people think you can. If you don't think you can, you're not going to. Loving yourself, accepting yourself, giving yourself the attention and the acceptance that you seek from others is really the main thing that will get you what you want. If you don't think you can do it, then why would that come into your life? Number two, it's important to remember that everybody was a beginner at some point. So I thought of this because this winter I'm learning to snowboard, and my second day it was going really terribly and I kept falling. I literally could not make it like more than 3 feet without falling, and I mean like falling hard. Like it was so embarrassing. I was on the ground and I was so frustrated and I was just like, I want to go home, I don't want to do this, this is embarrassing. And then I reminded myself that everybody else had a first time on the mountain also, and that everybody going by could clearly tell that it was my first day, and even if it wasn't my first day, it was clearly like my first time, and that's okay. It's okay to not be good at things and to suck at them, and it's okay if you never even get better at them. Like, what's important is that you try and you do your best and you show up, and nobody expects you to be an expert overnight, but the only way you're gonna get better is by practicing and unfortunately having those really shitty days, and you just have to get over it and get over the embarrassment and realize that practice does a lot more than sitting there obsessing over details and trying to be perfect. Number three is you have to realize that when you care about what other people have to say and give a fuck about what other people think of you, you are not living authentically. You cannot put authentic work into this world when you are constantly worried about what other people are thinking of you, what other people are saying of you. It has an influence, it has an impact on your work. Even if you think that you don't care, if you're thinking about it at all, it's going to affect your work. You know, when you're worried about what your parents are gonna think, or your friends, or your colleagues, you're thinking about that subconsciously even when you're doing anything, and it just takes away a really real part of who you are. I really like this quote by Brené. It's authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we really are. And I really love that quote. I think there's a lot of vulnerability in authenticity, which is something Brené Brown talks about. You should totally check her out if you don't know who she is. She has really good TED Talks. But yeah, there's a lot of vulnerability in being who you are and allowing people to see that and not caring about what other people think, and it's just part of it, and it's part of being human, and vulnerability is what makes us human, and it's something that I think a lot of people lack in this day and age, and you should really try to get some vulnerability back. Number four is to get the fuck over your imposter syndrome. I'm sorry, but if you have to. You cannot go through life saying things like, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not funny enough. That's not true. To believe you're not good enough, it manifests that you're not good enough. And it simply is just not true. We tend to sell ourselves short and say things like, oh, this just happened because I got lucky. Anybody else could have done this. It was easy, when you really should be saying, I deserve this, I worked really hard for this, I am smart enough for this, I am just as deserving as anybody else for this. You belong here just as much as anybody else belongs here. And until you start believing that, things are just not gonna go your way. So, imposter syndrome has to go. Number 5 is surrounding yourself with people on a similar journey and people who believe in you. It's really easy to let people we love be less than supportive of our dreams, and it's really something that we shouldn't tolerate and we shouldn't allow. You should be surrounding yourself with people who believe in you just as much as you believe in you. And at the very least, if they don't believe in you, then they can keep their comments to themselves and their support. You don't need their support. If you believe in yourself, you don't need it. But it's still not helpful to have somebody around you who doesn't believe in you. Same with having people on a similar journey. Those people will believe in you because they believe in themselves, and they think if they can do it, then most people believe if they can do it, anybody can do it. That's my belief. I think that every person is just as capable as the next. And, you know, starting a YouTube channel is not conventional, and, you know, I know people are going to make judgments, and that's okay, but I will choose to surround myself with people who are maybe taking a non-conventional path also. Just because it's nice to be around people who are creative, who are artists, who are struggling, who don't have, you know, a cookie cutter plan. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just that it's a lot easier to relate to these people and a lot easier to support each other. Number 6, you don't owe anybody an explanation for anything. It's really important to remember this. This was one thing that really stopped me from starting this channel sooner, was I was so worried about what people were going to think and how I was going to explain myself, how I was going to, like, why was I starting a YouTube channel? Why was I doing this? Like, I was so caught up in that and what I was going to say, but at the end of the day I realized that I know what my intentions are, and that's really all that matters. I know I have good intentions with this, and that I know I want to help people, and that's really what matters the most, I guess. Number 7, not caring what people think is like a muscle. The more times you choose your authentic self over the fear of being judged, the easier it gets. This is because you realize that This is because you realize that when you are your most authentic self, you are happier, you're at peace, you're aligned, it's easier to make decisions, like, you're not so indecisive when you're constantly weighing, like, what are they gonna think, what are they gonna say, like, it's so much easier to just, like, live a very, like, I don't know, like, go with the flow kind of life. Like, you get to decide your own things for you, and you become happier, and it just gets easier. It really does. Number 8, stop striving for perfection. Perfection is not real. Perfection to me is going to look different to you and to somebody else, and striving for it just gets you absolutely nowhere. Instead of striving for perfection, you should be striving for your best. And at the very least, give yourself room to fail. Give yourself room to create things that are ugly or not your best work or something completely out there. Give yourself room for something to be wrong, or let go of your ideas of what's wrong. It's just such a waste of time trying to be perfect, because it's just not ever going to be attainable. It's just not. It never will be. So stop with that. Sorry. Number 9. Make choices that make you feel proud. This kind of goes with, I guess, all of them. I don't know. They all kind of tie into each other, I realize. But when you're making choices that make you proud, it's a lot easier to be happy and to have a clearer direction in life. It makes it a lot easier to make decisions. You know, it's easy for people like our parents or our significant others, our siblings, our friends. Of course, like, their opinion matters and you want them to be proud of you too, but it's more important for you to be proud of you. And if you're proud of you, then chances are they are going to be just as proud of you as well. I've realized that striving to be proud of your life instead of happy with your life gets you further, where you're not so at rest, I guess. You don't get so restless, and again, it makes it a lot easier to make decisions and live life aligned with your higher self, and to pay attention to your values and make sure that you are always living up to your standards. Okay, last one, number 10. Stop taking things personally. Other people's judgments are simply just reflections of their insecurities. Most of the time, it has nothing to do with you, and taking things personally is such a fucking waste of time. It's just, there's no use. There's no use in listening to outside judgments, and that's not to say that you should never listen to criticism or critiques, but I was trying to say. Essentially, avoid listening to judgments from people who don't matter to you, or who are coming at you not in a place of love. You know, that's the difference between a judgment. A judgment is something that comes out very harshly, negatively, and a critique comes from a place of love, a place of wanting to help you, wanting to further you and better you, and are also suggestions. Critiques are suggestions. Judgments are just trying to be pushed on you, and you should not listen to them at all. But yeah, so those are 10 ways to stop giving a fuck what other people think about you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Another thing I would like to mention is that at the time of this video, there are a lot of wildfires happening in Australia, and the number of wildlife deaths has gone up and up every day, and it's believed to be over 1 billion by now. So I'm going to link some things in the description below. If you have the means to give, please do. It would mean a lot. But yes, that is all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.